How did my production skills develop through this project? Let's start talking about my knowledge at the beginning of the year. I started with no knowledge or experience of editing. I have never done media, just a basic understanding on how to edit on Canva and CapCut. At the beginning of the year, in September or October more or less, we did a film. I used very basic transitions, no editing barely, just sticking all the videos together, and some camera angles I just learned in media studies. However, my knowledge has improved a lot. Now I have learned new skills through my research I have done these past few months since September. The first thing I learned was to do a trial of recording the movie so I could see all my errors, what I had to change, so I could improve my filming and my film opening in general. So that was exactly what I did. Here we can see a video that's a small recap of all the scenes we filmed. We wanted to do a first trial to practice angles, different shots, how productive and efficient we would be, how much time it would take, and if the clothes actually fitted with what we wanted to transmit to the audience. What we learnt from that trial. We had to practice the transitions and angles before the filming day. But we also did that for the first trial, but for the next time, for the actual filming, we practiced more and more and more because we saw that our skills were lacking. Another thing we learnt was to have a more clear idea of the order of recording, which scene was filmed first, then the second scene we were going to film, and all that. Also, having a box with all the props we needed, because it would be very time taken to look for every prop every time we needed a prop. And the last one was to come to the scene all ready with the clothes on and makeup on to save even more time and be more efficient and productive. Now I will start explaining what we changed from what we did at the beginning of filming and what we saw that wasn't right and we changed during our filming process. Let's start with wardrobe. We adapted the clothes after our first trial of recording the film because it didn't represent the trendy teenager we wanted. We changed it to a style that looked more wealthy and not so mainstream clothing. And here we can see the first clothes we used and the final clothes we used. About the storyboard. Here we can see the first storyboard I made. And it was very basic. It didn't say too much about the angles, transitions, and what was happening in the scene. So we decided to look up on internet and help ourselves with both of these links. The first one is a video and the second one is a website. After taking all of this in and taking this all into account, we finished our storyboard, and this is how it looks like. In here we can see there's more specific scenes, and there's lots more that we have done to specify on each scene what we wanted to do. Now we're going to see how did I improve my production/editing skills. About the storyboard. Here we can see the first storyboard I made, and it was very basic. It didn't say too much about the angles, transitions, and what was happening in the scene. So we decided to look up on internet and help ourselves with both of these links. The first one is a video and the second one is a website. After taking all of this in and taking this all into account, we finished our storyboard, and this is how it looks like. In here we can see there's more specific scenes, and there's lots more that we have done to specify on each scene what we wanted to do. Okay, so in here we have one of the papers I have done, so we can look at more into detail. Here we can see that I've put in the middle of every scene if there was any transitions, and also I put the type of sound, diegetic, non-diegetic, the type of angle, the type of shot, and also what was happening in the scene. We didn't want to decorate it too much because we wanted to make it very visual and easy to see. First, we're going to have a look at editing chick flick conventions. First, I had to investigate and look in other films to see what the usual genre conventions in chick flick movies to keep the genre very, very, very specific. So here I'm going to show you some examples and some ideas I got from other movies, and then how I use them in my film. First of all, we have the split screen. In here you can see I have gotten the inspiration from Mean Girls, and now I'm going to show you my film as well of what I did. Based on the scene I got inspiration from.
Well, she's not mad at you.
Hold on.
Are you okay?
Now here we have a transition that's called whip pan. In here I show you a video where I learnt it from. I'm not going to click it because it's very long, but you can have a look at it if you like. And now I'm going to show you how my whip pan transition turned out. In here we can see the dissolve effect / transition. I got the inspiration from Princess Diaries, and over here you can see how I used these effects on my film.
Majesty, Paolo is exhausted because
Lastly, we have fade in and out. It's a very common effect, and it's very used in chick flicks specifically. I got the inspiration from Wild Child. In my film, however, it's very, very fast, but I have made it slower, so you can have a good look at what the transition looks like.
As am I.
Daddy, put your back into it. Harriet!
Also related to editing, I have also improved on learning how to use CapCut in more specific and more detailed ways. One of the ways and one of the things I've learned was changing the velocity of videos. You might ask, why did I change the velocity of the videos? Well, now the teenagers and the young adults are very used to TikTok and social media where things go very, very fast. So to catch the audience attention, I have changed the velocity so that teenagers and young adults don't see this film opening very long or too boring. Our production skills also improved in the area of using different camera angles. This creates more meaning to the film and makes the film better and more diverse, which makes it more entertaining for the audience. Now I'll explain all the camera angles I've been using in my film. First one, using a point of view shot. It draws the audience directly into the character's experience. This creates a stronger emotional connection and therefore can build empathy towards the character, the weird girl in this case. Also, as the angle is low angle, it makes the popular girl seem as a very powerful character and it makes her seem as if she was in control. And that is exactly what we were looking for. Now in this scene, this was right in the beginning of the film and we needed to set the environment of the audience. That's why we chose bird's eye view. The only thing wrong is that the angle looks more like just a high angle because we weren't able to record it at a higher angle because the ceiling was way too low. But we would have liked to do a fully bird's eye view so the audience can see that this girl's room is really big, very modern, and identify that this girl has a lot of money. The next shot is the over-the-shoulder shot that is usually used for dialogue. In our case, we wanted to make the audience see how the characters viewed each other and the relationship between the popular girls and the weird girl. Lastly, I will be talking about the close-up we did on the makeup. This was to make an emphasis and reinforce on them getting ready and the fact that the girls are covering all their natural beauty to fit in the beauty standards the society has nowadays.